Captain Larry Miniard. We're sitting on his dock in Palm Valley. My dad joined us as well. We're just gonna talk to him a little bit about how fishing's been, kind of his story. So, I mean, Larry, who's Larry Miniard? What's your story?
Well, been fishing all my life. My first captain's license was in 1971. So that tells you how long I've been doing it, a long time. I was offshore part-time, and back then, tarpon fishing, kingfish, and stuff like that. And kind of called it supporting your habit. It was part-time, you know, you couldn't make a living doing it or anything, but it kept the boat up and all, or helped pay for it anyway. And then did that for many years, fishing all the kingfish tournaments and such, and cobia tournaments and all, and then got involved in fly fishing and inshore fishing, and actually wanted to try to do it more for a living. And one thing about the offshore, you're dealing with weather. You lose a lot of trips. The boats are expensive. I kind of figured it up one time. I was working for about $3 an hour by the time at 3 o'clock in the morning, finish at 9 at night, you know. I was working about $3.50 an hour. And so it ended up, anyway, at that time there were no inshore fishing guides like we're doing it now, light tackle, fly, stuff like that. There were inshore guides, older men doing the cork rigs, trout, you know, specializing in trout fishing, and I got turned on to light tackle fishing in the intercoastal by Travis Gainey, which is a friend of ours. He said, "Man, let me take you and show you something." And I said, "Gosh, I'm missing the boat. I need to be doing this. It's easy, doesn't cost anything hardly at all.
Don't take long to run from the storms." And
back then, there was nobody doing it. I mean, I fished below the 210 bridge down by Pine Island and all, and I might see 2 or 3 boats the whole day.
I remember that.
And
it's changed now.
And I mean, it's a whole different ball game now. And I tell people stories that when I first started red fishing down here, I mean, everywhere you look, there were schools of 20 to 50 redfish everywhere.
I remember.
And
crazy.
I had the third flats boat in Jacksonville that I knew of.
Wow.
John Barcoated on the Salty Feather had one. Someone else had one, and then I had the third one. It was a pro sport.
Wow.
And I could take the trolling motor and troll right into the school of reds, and they would, and
no pressure on them back then.
Nope, they didn't know no pressure. Didn't care about the trolling motor, and I just flip right out the side of the boat and be hooking reds, and then go right and get right back in them again. Now you turn a trolling motor on, they're going 100 yards down the beach. So things have changed a lot, but that's just the way it is. The growth of Jacksonville and everything, and as big as it is now, and the popularity of inshore fishing. A lot cheaper to fish inshore than offshore, so lots of people are doing it, you know, and it's a good thing.
Larry, one of the things that I wanted to just touch on was, you know, I can remember, I mean, heck, me and you used to go out. I would go with you when we were commercial kingfish and catch hand lining them on your Xanadu on the blackfin. That was some years ago. But one of the things I wanted to touch on was when the Jaguars come to Jacksonville in '95. How did that play the role from a guide standpoint in fishing?
Well, I tell you, I tell people, you know, back through the years of the Jaguars being here, bad teams and all, and people go, I don't care if they're, you know, they go, I don't care. And I tell people, man, you don't have any idea. You do never want the Jaguars to leave this place. And when I first started, I fished the first guy, there was an expansion draft, and when they expand the teams, I think, and I might be telling this wrong, but I think the expansion team gets to pick people off the other teams to start their team and all.
Right.
And the first pick was, in the expansion, was David Wydell for the center for the Jaguars, and he came from Denver. And believe it or not, a big, huge guy like that, he was a fly fisherman. At that time, I was fishing for Orvis. I was an Orvis endorsed fly fishing guide. I was for many, many years. And from him dealing with the Orvis people in Colorado, freshwater fishing, fly fishing, they gave him my name, and we ended up being really good friends. My son actually he gave my son one of his playing jerseys when he retired,
That's
which
awesome.
is unbelievable. And so anyway, I fished with him. He called and everything, and I was all excited, and we, like I said, we became real good friends, and fished with him many times, and multiple guys in the Jaguars. Now it's a lot different now. They don't stay as long as they used to initially, and so I fished with Loggeman and
Baselli, I think.
Tony Brackens and a lot of the coaches. Actually, the coach, you would.
The first coach?
No, the coaches would charter me to run a corporate thing with a group of guys for all the rookies, offensive line every year.
That was cool.
And and I'll tell you a funny story. We're on the dock at Mike's place down there at Mike's Place Bait Shop in St. Augustine in Volano there, and which is now Aunt Kate's restaurant, and had all the rookies and the coaches for the offensive line, all of that, and the offensive line and all the rookies that had been picked that year, and we wanted to get a group shot of them, and it was kind of low tide. I got down on the beach to take a picture of them up, and they were all lined like that. And I looked at the dock, and the dock was sagging.
Oh my God!
Like about to collapse into the rocks.
That's a lot of weight.
It was so much weight; it was unbelievable.
Wow.
And I see the dock sagging from down on the beach, and I started clicking pictures and said, "Move, move, get off the dock or spread out, man."
That's crazy.
But that was funny. But
you built a lot of relationships.
With those guys. I still fish Ron Heller and Russ Burnell that were coaches with the Jaguars. They live here now. I still fish them all the time, a lot, and other people also. Andy Heck was the one. He is now the offensive line coach for the Kansas City Chiefs. And we became real good friends because my wife taught his sons in school. And his son, the one that she taught, is now the offensive tackle for, I think, he was for Houston, but I think he's with Tennessee now. And I just, a little kid, I fished him. Now, hey, I could show you a picture of me standing between the two brothers, and I look like a dwarf.
Man, that's cool.
But a lot of good stories, a lot of good times, and basically doing it as long as I have, I've seen a lot of stuff change. But when it gets back to the Jaguars, you don't ever want to lose an NFL franchise.
No, they bring so much.
It turned on, it was like turning on a light switch. You used to struggle to make a living chartering and everything, and not that we still don't, but with the growth of Jacksonville and everything, there's a lot of people who do a lot of corporate stuff. But when the Jaguars came here, it was like turning the light switch on, freeing up the money and the attitude and the spending on stuff that's entertainment, like fishing.
Absolutely.
It's been great.
That's it's crazy how much the influence. I never even really thought about that until talking with you a little bit, and how much the Jaguars are growing in the city around us, and that kind of leads me on to my next question. So Palm Valley, obviously, you used to sit out here and not see a single boat. Now, since we started talking, I mean, probably seen a dozen at least.
Yeah,
so, I mean, as far as Palm Valley goes, you've seen this area grow a ton.
Yeah, when I bought my property, I could have bought all these lots. Besides, there was nothing down here but trailers and a house here with some of the old timers here and there, you know, and but all of these lots were vacant, you know, and it was incredible. And you come out here, and you guys grew up here, Jeff. You come out and catch shrimp off your dock and all that stuff. Not that you can't do that now, but there was no boat traffic, nothing. And it has really changed. When I was really fly fishing before this got crazy here, one of my favorite places to fly fish was right up and down the Intracoastal.
The West Bank.
And if you got there, if you started here in the mornings, of course you didn't have any traffic, but if you did, it started then, and you didn't get boats till 10 o'clock.
Right.
But you get a dead low tide. There were so many big redfish tailing, and what they would do, they'd get up on the banks and they just swim down the banks with their whole backs out. It was perfect for fly fishing. You just poled up to them, told the guy to put his fly right in front of them, boom, you were hooked up. My best day, we had 9 reds on the fly right up and down the thing. But you can't do that now. There's too much boat traffic, and the boat traffic really affects the fishing. Even when you get out of the valley here, what we call the ditch, you get down where the water is still open.
Not to mention the pressure that's on the fish now from all the fishermen.
A lot of pressure, a lot of guides, a lot of people fishing, and you know, Jacksonville's a big place, and which encompasses all the counties. I mean, we're all about that's like the one big community, and there's just lots of people that fish.
Yeah, we kept it a secret out here for many years. But once it got out, it was out. It was over. Everybody came in swarms. You know. So, but yeah, that's so awesome, Larry. Just to you know. The changes down here. You know, a lot of the younger viewers, they don't realize how we had it when we were young.
Oh, yeah.
And boy, was it, I try to tell my boys, you know, I'm like, if y'all only knew. I mean, you know, we'd go deer hunting, you know, right at the end of the road. You know,
we go down and hunt turkeys.
Me and you used to go turkey hunting, which is now Marsh Landing, you know. And matter of fact, there were some houses going up when we hunted in there the last time, but we had a lot of fun, a lot of fun.
It's a lot of changes, but you know, and the net ban, you know, you get into the fishing, you talk about the fishing more, you know, you know how it was down here. When there was no net ban, every creek had a gill net in it, which wiped everything out. You know, when they did that net ban, just made the fishing so much better, you know, and because you know you deal with nets, gill nets, it kills every fish. I mean, they're not just after one fish. They might be after one fish, but it kills everything that goes in it. So, and it was funny. I could fish a creek down here. You know, like I said, you didn't see anybody, and I'd go in there and I'd catch 50, 60 redfish. You know, and I'd go in there 3 or 4 days later or a week later, or whatever, and not get a bite. And I'd tell my clients, there's a gill net in here,
you know,
or somebody's netted it.
Something's happened.
And sure enough, if you looked around, there was either a net or somebody had already wiped them out with a net. But.
And you know, I know we were talking about kind of a fishing report too. You had a charter yesterday, which I know you usually don't charter on Saturdays, but this one was a close friend of yours. And you had a really cool day catching some nice flounder.
Yeah, we had a great flounder bite, and you know, we caught quite a few. I don't really know how many we caught, but we kept 9 big ones, and they were anywhere from 2 pounds to 4 pounds in that range, and all quality fish.
That's a solid fish.
And it was, like I said, I don't fish on Saturdays, but it was the lady that cuts my hair, and it was her birthday, and she asked if I could take her. She always wanted the flounder fish. Well, she got a taste of it yesterday. The first one was about a 3.5 pounder she caught the first fish.
Wow, that's awesome.
All live bait?
mud minnows and some finger mullet. I left the clients to use the mud minnows because, you know, when you fish
a little hardier,
well, not that, it's you gotta feed it to them on the mullet, and it's hard for people that feel that thing, they want to jerk it, and we missed several fish they did because of that, you know, jerking a little, you know, not feeding it to them. But with the minnows, mud minnows, they suck that thing down real quick, you know.
Big mullet,
you fish a mullet, they bite the thing in half and then get ready. You know, they have a hold of it and they're turning it in there. You got to give them time, you know. But caught some good ones on the mullet, but I was fishing the mullet and they were fishing the mud minnows. And it was good. Yeah, but big old mud minnows, they love them, you know.
And offshore, you made a trip, I think 3 or 4 weeks ago with Bubba Ryan.
Bubba Ryan on the east side, good friend of mine.
And y'all caught a mess of big yellowfin.
Yeah, we caught probably the first good catch out of here with the yellowfins, and well, we caught so many we had nowhere else to put them, so we quit fishing.
You had the boxes full. You were a big reason why we loaded up and made the run.
I think a lot of people saw that and they decided to get out there.
Yeah, and we had 2 really good trips.
And you know, and it doesn't. We were actually supposed to go today, and we're doing this now, and I didn't know if we would get this done because I was invited to go back. That only lasts for so long out there, and they said, well, maybe, you know, we might get another trip or 2 in. Me with my charter schedule, you know, if I get invited and I can get, I'm going to go, you know. So anyway, we didn't make it this time, and I don't know, but
it's blowing pretty good today.
It's blowing. You wouldn't want to. And Mark, the captain, he's the greatest. And he had looked at it and figured the fish were about 140 miles, so we'd have been 140 miles in this, and so that would have been a nasty day, even in a 65-footer or whatever it is.
We did it in a 37 front runner when it was blowing about like this, and it was rough, but we made it out there, and we had a pretty good day. But I mean, as far as offshore fishing, it seems like it's off to a pretty hot start on the east side, especially for mahi, even marlin.
Kingfish
too. That's what I was gonna say.
Our boy Nate.
I mean, Nate just weighed a 54 in the Kingfish shootout. It makes you wonder, you know, kind of if we're going to see some good kingfishing on the beach. I mean, I'm curious if that's going to stick. I mean, what do y'all think? Y'all think it'll be topped? Or?
That's a big fish. That's going to be hard to beat.
That would be a hard one to beat, you know. I mean, if it gets topped, hats off to whoever catches it, I tell you what. 54 is big. I think if I'm not mistaken, the record in the general tournament, Greater Jacksonville, was 52 or
57, and Dan Crowley broke it 2 years ago.
57.
56 or 57. I'd have to look it up, but I think it's 50, 56, 57.
It was 52 for years and years and years.
Ace Hardware, what was his name?
Steve Proctor.
Steve held it for a while, didn't he?
Yeah, well, anytime over 50s, in the 50s, you know, 50, 51, you caught a 50-pounder, boy, you were probably going to win. That's for sure, you know. And that's for a beach fish. You know, things have changed, and now it's expanded out into the ocean there, you know, offshore. Places that hold fish, but people really didn't fish in the smaller. Now the boats, you can do
it that way back then. Hoagies, Carolina rig, go to the golf ball or go to Red Tops. You know, everybody was on the beach.
That was kind of what I mean, for my generation, you know, we've seen a whole different style of kingfishing growing up. I mean, y'all saw it early on when it was, you know, I mean, how many boats was the Greater Jacksonville back then?
1,000 boats.
Well, it was 1,000. I came in second in the first Greater Jacksonville Kingfish tournament, and I think there was about 300 boats at that time, and it was the very first one. And we chum fished back then. There wasn't any trolling pokies.
Larry, do you remember all the boats? Because I remember that very first one. I was young. We fished it, and all them boats leaving inside the inlet.
Yeah.
And there was little boats just looked like they were, getting tossed around.
It was dangerous. They were very lucky, and it evolved how they did it. First, it was a shotgun start, inside the inlet there, but you had to go by a checkout boat.
Yeah.
So here's 100 boats lined up behind this checkout boat, and the tide's wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so as you're coming up,
pulling everybody. Yeah.
it sucks everybody. Oh man, there were people running into each other's boats and everything. And then they would do the shotgun start from in the river, and guys would fish those things in John boats, and this guy in the John boat got launched, broke his arm and all. Yeah. Then it changed to the shotgun start outside. But it was my boat was slow. Yeah. I got to say, if we fished Matanzas, I had the blackfin with the diesel in it, so I could only run about 23 knots, something like that, and so I got there 30 minutes behind everyone, and I had to leave 30 minutes early to make it. So I lost an hour of fishing. But when I would take off, and being out there in front, man, and even out in the ocean, if your boat cut off, if your engines died for some way, you could run over really bad, easy, So I don't know. It's come around to where now, I guess, most of the checkouts you just go, and then you just have to be back in within a certain time.
Has it not evolved? The
it
boats,
has.
That's what I was thinking. Now quad motors. 40-foot plus boats.
We didn't have.
Who was the first? Can y'all remember? Was the first kind of guy to kick that off as far as maybe twins or trips?
I can tell you exactly.
With the fountains.
With the fountain, Clayton Kirby, and that one was great fisherman. Yeah. They're the ones that started the live bait fishing. I don't know why we couldn't get it together. That's where I was leading into the chum fishing. Yeah. We did the first 5 years or so, it was all, and then the Carolina boys came down here, and they had already had figured the pogey fishing out.
They kicked our ass for a little while.
They kicked our butts, but they didn't know about the secret weapons. They didn't know about ribbon fish, so we were catching them.
That's right.
I saw one gentleman that was a shrimper, river shrimper, and he won, and I don't even know his name, I can't remember. He won several tournaments, not the Greater Jacksonville, but some of the smaller ones, and all I would see him doing is drifting down the chum line at the tide line at the chum hole at the jetties. Yeah. And I'm going, what is this guy doing? But then you'd see him gaff a big fish. Yeah. Well, he had ribbon fish down on the bottom in different heights.
Probably planers back then.
And well, no, he wasn't trolling. He was drifting, and he'd just put them down and drift right down the rip, and boom, man. And I was going, what is going on? Then we figured out the ribbon fish, so we started using the ribbon fish, and the Carolina boys came down here and smoked us. Yeah. And then we got into what we called the secret weapon. They didn't know anything. And then we were catching. Yeah. We were back, and it all evolved. But Clayton Kirby, they came down with their big fountains, man, and we loaded. And then, Dave Workman got involved with that, and different people.
The team fountains. I remember, I'll never forget the helicopter coming out of the inlet. Yeah. We're in our little center console, and he shoots by us, and then you got 3 or 4 fountains in the front, leading the pack. Always. And he would be flying backwards with the guy hanging out with the camera. It was so cool.
Flying sideways. Right behind.
Yeah, we hated those guys with them damn fountains. They kick our ass every year.
They did, man. Those Carolina boys, they were good fishermen, and they're the ones that started the whole live bait thing. That's and you know how it's gone from there. That's it. That's the deal now, live baiting, and now it sounds like the kites are getting into it.
The kites are, our boy Nate's, he's getting pretty good with them.
The late Grady Warren had those up here years ago. He was but everybody would laugh at him because he wasn't covering that much area.
That's right.
And he fished the kite, and he was very, I don't know if I would say he was good at it, didn't do enough, successful, but it's proven that they are very successful.
I
They
think
work.
the bait presentation is just huge. You know?
Still got to be around the fish.
You do. You got to find the fish.
You got to be on the fish,
That's right.
and have some luck.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of that.
A lot of luck.
That.
Yeah.
That's right.
When you weren't fishing, you were doing a little surfing.
I was a professional surfer. I guess you would call it professional. I was a professional surfer when there was no money in it. That's my life story. About the time I get too old to do it, the money gets in it.
Yeah.
But I represented the United States 4 times in world competition around the world
that's awesome.
for the United States, and that's one of my greatest achievements. I love it.
That's
You know,
huge.
to represent your country.
Absolutely.
Came in 11th in San Diego in the World Surfing Championships in, I think, 70 or 71. But, you know, and at a young age, I was being paid not very much by Challenger surfboards because I designed all their surfboards for the East Coast.
Wow.
And getting paid to surf and everything, but also got to travel all over the world for free at a young age.
That had been really
because
cool.
the World Surfing Association paid for everything when you went to the contest, you know.
Wow.
So
That's
got
so
to
cool.
travel the world and all, and man, now, you know, surfing, it's a big deal.
Them were
It's huge.
longboards back then, wasn't they?
Well,
Larry?
they started out with the longboards, and then we went through the whole shortboards. When I went to Australia, that's when the shortboards were just coming out, and the twin fins and all that stuff. And we came back from Australia, and boom, that's the shortboard started.
Wow.
You know, we started that.
That's
and
so cool.
Where was your favorite place you think you surfed?
Oh, I used to love Puerto Rico because I'd go down there in the winter and spend the winters down there with my family. My daughter and my first wife, we'd go, and back then you could rent a place. You actually lived in parts of the Puerto Ricans' houses are off a little thing off to the side and all,
Right.
and for nothing, you know.
Wow.
And we dove and fished and caught our own food and everything,
Yeah.
but surfed and spent the whole winter down
Wow,
pretty
that
much
was
down
cool,
there.
huh?
So Puerto Rico was good, but I rode great waves. We had a place up here called the Point, which was because they had dredged the river and put it. That was one of the best waves that
Really?
I've ever ridden, and it was
Wow.
incredible.
Was that near the pole?
That was
What is now
past the
pole?
pole. It was
Past
on the
pole?
base. We had to
Yep.
sneak onto the base to get
No
on there, and it
kidding.
was.
Wow.
We'd be on there. You'd have to paddle down. You couldn't get on the beach, and man, the Point from them dredging it, they did it to re-nourish the beaches, so all the sand would
sand
drift
went back
down the beaches, you know. So
Created sloughs.
the Point went way out into the water that had been pumped out there. So it was just like a point, but it could be waist high up and down these beaches, and you go there and it would be overhead.
Wow.
Because it stuck out.
That's
just
crazy.
you know why? I don't know.
Yeah.
But just incredible wave.
Wow.
And then the North Jetties were great, but I rode good waves all over the place. One of the best. We used to go on these surf tours and would have to. We had the circuit started in Rhode Island and came all the way back down in Ocean City, Maryland, Virginia Beach, East Coast Championships, right on down, you know. So we did the circuit, and there would be about 10 or 12 of us in a van, you know,
Yeah.
and
Living out of the van.
living out of the van or renting, you know,
Yeah.
I mean,
That's awesome.
dirt holes, you know, to live in and
Yeah.
everything. But a hurricane came offshore when we were in Rhode Island. So we surfed the Rhode Island tournament, and we didn't have to be somewhere for a week, so we stayed there. And one of the hurricanes went offshore about 300 or 400 miles, and just like they do now, all the way up the coast. And everything was private, the beaches, so getting to these places were really hard, and these points would stick out. And we rode waves at this one place that you could drive a Volkswagen through and never get it
my
wet,
God.
man. Breaking out in the middle of the ocean.
Holy moly.
Probably only happens every once in a while.
Yeah.
And man, we hit that wave that was just unbelievable. And they were lefts, no rights.
Wow.
Of course, I was a regular foot, but so I had to go backside. But guys like Joe Rowland and different guys like that were lefties, you know, goofy footers, man, would just. I mean, standing inside of a tube and just, like
God.
it looked like something out of
That had
the
to be a hell of an
magazines.
experience.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Wow.
But it was all good, you know.
On another note, he's asking where your favorite place to surf was. I'm going to ask you, where, including where you live, where's your absolute favorite place to fish?
Oh boy.
Putting you on the spot, Larry.
Well, I'd have to say, Jeff, it's kind of what you're going to fish for, you know.
Right.
You know, the St. Johns River is I don't fish it that much because I'm down here, but but when I tournament fished a lot, I mean, grew up fishing all up there. St. Johns River is an amazing body of water. I mean, it holds everything in there, you know. And I don't know. I'd have to say, shoot, Pine Island, man.
I figured you would probably say
I was thinking the same thing.
Pine Island, you know, I mean.
But I know you fished all over the place too.
Probably, I would venture to say, and you know, I've lost count, but probably I've been an inshore guide for 35 plus years. I don't even know how.
I remember when you started.
And there's probably not an inch of water that I haven't been in down there.
Yeah, that's right. Wow.
It's been good, and it's still good with the limits they've put on everything now. There's some I agree with, and some that are, you know, I don't know why that they just changed the trout limits to 3 per, but they won't let you have a 19 inch over a 19 inch. I mean, I don't know why they didn't leave it down to 3, but still let the boat have one fish of over.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, we release all the big ones anyway, but you know, a person catches a 21 inch trout, which is not that big a trout, but is a nice one, and you have to throw it back. You know, I don't know. Going down to one red per person is, I think, is good. I know people go, wow, man, and somebody's paying me a lot of money just to keep one redfish per person. But you think of it this way. I know how many fish I catch in a year, and there's 100 guides doing the same thing, plus all the public.
That's right.
If it was 2 or 3 fish, it has made a big difference in the population already.
I know we're probably running short on time, but one thing I really wanted to touch on was we were awarded the month for snapper. I think, you know, we've all seen what that's done. We haven't all agreed with how they done it, but we've seen what it's done to the snapper. They need to be thinned out some. I mean, they can't catch nothing else hardly out there without the snapper. You know, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think they're going to get thinned out for sure. You know, but there's so many snapper. If they can just, we'll see after it goes through the first 30 days. You know what I mean, and see 39 days the first season and see, but. There's a lot of snapper.
There's a lot.
You know, there's a lot of snapper.
Catching them on top when we're kingfishing. It's amazing. I think it opened up an opportunity. You know, one of our personal friends, Tim, he's doing a charity tournament, a big old snapper, and I think it for him, it's for a charity, 100%. So I think it's really cool that it's given him that opportunity to kind of benefit his foundation and what they're all trying to do. So there's a lot of pros. I mean, I think it's needed, but I think, like you're saying, we're going to see how this goes, and then you know, who knows how next year will go. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out, but I think it's definitely needed. I mean, at least something. It was almost more dangerous. With a weekend.
It was crazy dangerous out there. It really was, you know, and being a charter captain, this is good for the charter offshore guys, you know. Then I know a lot of them and fish with a lot of them, and they're running 3 trips and 4 trips a day when it's a one-day season. You know,
for the economy all the way around.
So now they can go out there and people catch a snapper, and they keep a snapper. They got 6 people on the boat. They keep 6 snapper, and then they catch other things also. So it's really good for them, you know, putting stuff on the dock for the economy, for the charter captains. Anyway.
And I hope everybody, you know, one of my concerns is that people don't properly know how to use a venting tool.
Yeah.
And you end up with thousands of floating snapper.
Well,
That's going to really
I've seen
look
that,
bad.
yeah.
And I hope, folks, everybody obeys that and takes the time to vent them properly. To get them back there. We went and caught 50 plus snapper a week ago for doing some video footage. Released every one of them.
Yeah.
And we did not have one snapper float. So that was good.
Well,
that felt good.
It's the law that you have to have a venting tool on there for anybody that watches this and sees, and you're going, I'm going to say, you better have a venting tool, because if you get stopped and you don't, I don't care if you still have just your limit, you better have a venting tool, you're probably going to get a ticket.
And they've already said that they're going to be out full force with everybody that's on staff out there. So you can expect to get checked. Boats.
When we had the weekend, it was like the damn Iron Man out here with boats you had with the traffic.
It was crazy.
I sat in traffic for 50 minutes yesterday.
And now, you don't have to. I mean, everybody will still be going this Friday, I'm sure, but then after that, you don't have to kill yourself to get out there. I mean, if you casually get out there,
Pick your days.
Hunter, one thing, you wanted to mention the beach tournaments and all. You want to bring that
up?
I
mean, it just goes back to the point of I'm curious to see kind of with the start to the fishing season, I think we're going to see some bigger fish wade in. The old school Paul's tournaments coming up in June. And he always draws a bunch of participants.
Yeah,
he does a great job.
He does an awesome job.
I mean, ton of sponsors. Everyone supports it.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's interesting to see how we talk about evolving, how we're seeing more beach tournaments, but I think it's just more accessible to people. I think in smaller boats, and I'm curious to see what wins it this year. I think this year. I mean, I'm going to go 48 would be my guess.
The beach?
On the beach tournament, on Paul's Old School, is what my guess would be. Maybe it'll break 50, but I'm hoping we see a bunch of fish wade in though.
I'm going to say 44, 45.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah. 45 to 50 in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, getting back to just mention one thing real quick. This is the earliest, and I've been here all my life, this is the earliest I've seen tarpon here.
Is it?
Really?
I saw tarpon here.
Wow.
That I was feeding tarpon April 1st.
Wow.
And usually you don't ever see them until middle of May, something like that, Yeah. And they've caught kingfish on the pier and the kingfish here and there, pogies on the beach.
Yeah.
For some reason, why it runs in different cycles, you would think the way our weather was that it would be later.
Yeah.
And it ended up being, when I'm seeing tarpon April 1st, that's, I mean, crazy. The water's not even warmed up that much.
I was going to say, is the water a little bit warmer? Because, I mean, I read the other day it's an El Nino year.
Yeah, it is, but the water was not very warm when I'm seeing these fish.
Wow.
Really? That's interesting.
And, I mean, it wasn't, I don't know exactly what the temperature was, but I mean, it was in, I don't know what the temperature was, but it was, I know it was a month, almost a month earlier than I usually see.
A lot cooler than it is now.
A lot cooler than it is when they should be here now,
Right. That's interesting, Larry. I mean,
so maybe that's going to happen on the beach.
That's right. Maybe it'll be an epic year for the kingfish too.
Yeah,
I mean,
we'll see.
Looking like it may be.
There's one thing to look forward to every year, and growing up here, it's like kingfish season.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
It's like, the competitiveness, everything just draws the crowd, and hopefully we see some good turnouts and some good fish.
I think we will.
I tell you, the greater Jacksonville in its heyday, when there was 1,000 boats in it, it was an impressive thing to see. I mean, it was crazy, but they had the VIP, and I did really well in the VIP quite a few years, and then they had it was a whole week-long ordeal, man, that people came from all over the country.
It was like a fair.
It was
as a kid.
It was crazy.
I wish we could get it back to that. I really do.
Yeah, that was something. That was probably the biggest tournament on the East Coast, was it not, at that time?
The largest,
Super Bowl.
1,000 boats, that's amazing.
Kingfish,
And they hit 1,000 boats a couple times.
Yeah, they did.
Yep.
And I will say this, giving them credit, I think they've been working harder to answer the fishermen's calls,
needs,
to change a few things. And I think it's going in the right direction. It's going to take a while for it to get back, if we ever see it get back like that.
Yeah.
But I think it's possible. I think it could.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But
We'll
with
see.
fuel prices, and I mean, that's a tough one right
Fuel
there.
prices.
Everything's more expensive now.
Everything,
But I mean, the last thing before we go, I know we keep saying that, but it is something interesting that I saw, and I don't know all the facts on it, but the Josephs with their King of the Beach tournament, so they're doing a circuit. So they're basically picking 3, and like I said, I don't know the facts on it. They just announced it, so go check out the page. But they're picking 3 of the, I want to say just beach tournaments.
Yeah.
They're picking 3 beach tournaments. You can enter into this series and basically win, you know, really the king of the beach, you know. You get points for however big your fish is. And like I said, I don't know all the details, but it's definitely something worth checking out. But basically making a series out of it, which I think is pretty interesting.
That's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to put a little more excitement in it and make you fish a little harder.
Yeah.
You know?
Anytime we can do that and draw crowds, like you're saying, with the Jaguars come, you know, and this area is just growing like crazy, and everybody wants a boat, especially in COVID. Everyone was buying a boat.
That's right.
And so, you know, some people may not need a boat. I mean, we've seen some crazy stuff, I'm sure all of us. But with that being said, it's getting more accessible to everybody, and I want to see it continue to grow, and I think that's kind of what our identity is becoming with the Sportfish Connection, is trying to put a focus on the tournaments and the anglers and the sponsors, the small businesses in the areas. Angie Sub's been a huge supporter.
Yeah, Ed's done a great job with the shootout
Comp
too.
Republic, that's who made this shirt. He's a local guy, and he's been a huge supporter, great company. You know, we've had a bunch of people reach out, and I think overall our goal is to try to get tournament fishing kind of for our generation pumped up, you know, pumped back up, where you know, I think there's a lot of different people trying to do it with the billfish and all that, and I think that's awesome. But for the Kingfish and just the local area, I think there's so much opportunity here.
I know when we first talked, I mean, and a lot of times, you know, it's a great idea. First of all, you can see all the tournaments and what entails to fish them, and then if you can get it to where, boom, instantly the results. I mean, I've looked at out of years I don't fish at Jacksonville, Kingfish. I'm looking for the result.
You want to know where your buddies are.
I mean, I don't want to know a day or two later. I want to know when it's happening.
Shit talk. I want to be able to shit talk they did. I want to see, you know, where they finish.
So and that's our goal with the Sportfish Connection.
That would be a great thing, man, for you guys. I wish you the best of luck. I know you're working at it, and it's going to happen.
Well, thank you for your help.
All right,
for sitting
always
down with us, and you know, from we definitely have more of these plans with the Sportfish Connection. So I guess that's a wrap, huh?
Yeah, go ahead and follow us, and I'll tag you on the Instagram and all that good stuff. And yeah, I think that was a good little sit down.
All right,
thank you, Larry.
Report. A little bit more than a fishing report, but
some story, more storytelling.